battle between gods foretold to break the world. For most, this conflict would mean death. For those that survived, the unconditional worship of mortals. The jungle was dying. Choked of sunlight, bereft of rain, the mortals cried out to Chak for aid. Though try as he might, his axe would not split the sky. Into their despair walked Ares. He came seeking Anubis, but Chak had healed the jackal god and sent him west. Ares let loose his full and mighty fury. To aid the enemy of the god of war is to be the enemy of the god of war. A single tear slipped from Chak's eye. Never again would he see his beloved. Then, and only then, did the rain come. The people shouted the name of their savior. They shouted for Ares. God was on fire. Ash blended with snow. All sunlight choked. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, was loose. Hel's grim plan had come to pass. To aid her brother's assault, she unleashed Asgard's worst foes, thunderous ice giants and horrid stalking shadows. Mortals' panicked cries filled the night. Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom, defended what mortals she could, but Fenrir was too fierce. She urged Odin to abandon the city and lead the people to safety. To Thor, his son, the All-Father entrusted Asgard's future. The wolf had come. Thor would not abandon his city or his people. Athena vowed to return with the Greek army and aid the Asgardians before Ragnarok consumed them all.
Left me sleeping. In a different time, I would have crushed you, little gods. But I shall let you endure. Now stare out into the world you have damned, and witness all its dismemberment.
Clutched Nippon in a chilled fist. Only one cherry blossom remained. In pursuit of Anubis, Ares crept silently through the forest. Aokigahara welcomed no sound, no birds, no crickets, no rustling of branches. Only a powerful, silent stillness. This was the Suicide Wood, where the wall between hell and earth was most thin. From the depths, her whispered voice demanded freedom. Ares was unmoved. Izanami was bound here. In exchange for freedom, she offered Ares wealth. She offered him power to be his bride. But it was only the promise of vengeance that tempted him. Ares took up her leash. She would guide him to Anubis. Until then, the demon would serve. The Yellow River ran heavy with rain. Herbois, river god, refused to allow Ares to cross as long as the demon Izanami was with him. She urged the god of war to let her slaughter Herbois. But Ares spied rain clouds in the distant mountains. Those waters fed the valleys and shaped the great river, a river the mortals needed to survive. With Chak's axe in hand, Ares threatened to banish the rain, dry the river, and starve the mortals, lest Herbois let them cross. To save the mortals, Herbois let them pass. Snarling and spitting, Izanami pressed Ares to slay the river god. Tempted by the whispers of the demon, Ares broke his word. Using Chalk's axe, he cut away the clouds. The yellow river would dry, the mortals would perish, and no one would ever remember the river god, Herbois. A winter fog swallowed Ganesha's temple. Izanami led Ares here. She could sense Anubis hiding within. Ares heaved against the heavy doors, though they would not yield to him. Then Ganesh, god of obstacles, spoke. Ares stood at the crest of two paths. One led to peace, the other to vengeance and war. Ares was not the god of peace. Ares was the god of war. Anubis fled the burning temple, but was not fast enough. His declaration of innocence fell on deaf ears. All that mattered to Ares was vengeance. Her duty fulfilled, Izanami was free. The world trembled. Smoke rose from the ruins of the Kingdom of the Sun. Ares had left it broken. Ra, blinded and chained for all to see. Greek soldiers looted freely, but grew still with shame at the sight of Athena. Breaking the chains, she set Ra free. Entreating her soldiers, she called them to pray, worship Ra, restore his sight. Their belief healed the sun god, but he was beset by a vision of defeated Asgardians, a battle lost. Hel sat triumphant upon the throne, and the doom of Ragnarok fully unleashed. To the soldiers, Athena offered a choice. Follow her and defend Asgard, or remain here. Cheering, the soldiers beat their shields and shouted her name. They would follow her anywhere. A soundless night entombed the Roman countryside, shattered by a blood-curdling cry. Shadows, now given life of their own, turned on those that cast them, hacking and stabbing, Hel's minions. At their command, a frost giant, whose massive form withstood Athena's spear as a hornet's sting. Snatching her like a doll, he crushed her in a massive fist. Clawing at the dirt, the killer shadows were swallowed by a black vortex. From nothing, Nox took shape and cast the shadows forth like a swarm, devouring the frost giant. Before melting back into darkness, Nox whispered a warning. Asgard had fallen. Olympus was next. An unnatural night was coming. Her soldiers made the choice. Athena turned the army toward Greece. This was braced for a storm unseen but felt by all. Athena found her people terrified, cowering in their homes. Outside the throne room, she came face to face with her brother, Ares. He proudly proclaimed their father avenged. Anubis was dead. Athena revealed the truth that Loki had murdered Zeus. Tempers flared. In their absence, Hades had not been idle. Poised to complete a ritual of dark intent, Hades sought war with Asgard for inciting Ragnarok. Tempted by Hades' promises of bloodshed and battle, Ares prevented Athena from stopping the ritual. Lines were drawn. War would come. Brother against sister. God against God. And for Hades, all the mortal souls he could ever desire.
Mortals, do not fear death. Death is not the end. Death is the beginning. Surrender to the flames of Ragnarok. Forge a new world where all shall fear.